Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Do you ever twiddle while you're developing? So I put out a video a few days ago and I showed a little tiny bit of developing that I was doing, and in the comments one of the YouTube members, Don Bennett, and Don, thanks very much for supporting the channel via the YouTube membership area, he asked me a question. He said, have you ever tried the spinny twiddly thing when you're developing? And I guess some of you might know what I'm talking about, some of you don't. Some of those Patterson tanks, I don't know about the others, I've only ever used the Patterson tanks. They come with this little tiny spinny twiddly thing that you can put inside, and instead of doing your normal inversions like this, you can use that and turn the reel around while you're developing instead of doing inversions. Don said saves all those leaks and stuff, because then Patterson tanks do leak over time. And he said just give it a little twiddle and have a go. And I thought, well, I've never done it before. I've usually got those Patterson tanks and that's the first thing that's gone in the drawer, is the twiddle stick. I've never ever used one. But when Don said that in the comment section of the last video, I thought, why not give it a go? Put it head to head against normal inversions and twiddling, see what happens. Right, okay, so one twiddle. So I thought I'd give it a go and try it out using half a roll of HP5 that I'd already shot and cut out the camera. So that was just sitting in the cupboard. I thought, right, okay, I'll use the rest of the HP5 on this little tiny experiment between normal inversions and the little twiddle thing. So I got to work and I set up a very simple scene, and I took the HP5, put it inside a Nikon F5, and I took the photographs and then took the film out of the camera and I cut it in half and put it into two separate tanks. And I chose Rodinal as my developer, 1 part to 25. So one tank I inverted normally, like I normally do, and the other one I twiddled. And I did this exactly the same time. So in one hand I'm inverting this way, and in this hand I'm twiddling the other tank. And when I finished the development and the negatives were finally dry, I was quite surprised. They looked very, very similar. So I thought to myself, well, while I've got the Rodinal out, I may as well try another test, which another subscriber asked me a while back when I was doing my Wednesday Wonders. And they asked, can I show the differences between Rodinal 1 part to 25, 1 part to 50, 1 part to 100, and also a stand development as well. Something I never actually ventured into, but I thought, while I've got the Rodinal out and I'm playing around with HP5, I may as well. So I grabbed another roll of HP5, set the scene up again, off I went. So the idea was very simple. I set up a very small scene indoors, lit it, put a Nikon F5 there, loaded it with a roll of Ilford HP5, and I burst the whole lot on that scene within about 3 seconds. So after I took my photographs, I went back into the darkroom and I cut the film into 4 sections. So now I've got 4 strips of film. One I was going to develop in 1 part to 25, the other 1 part to 50, the other 1 part to 100, and the other one at a stand development. So I'm on the 1 part to 100 Rodinal at the moment, and I'm just up to the 4th minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm getting a little bit more used to it. I just find it really fiddly, twiddling this little tiny thing. It keeps popping out, and I don't know. It's if the stick was up here a bit more, it might help. But I'll keep putting my hands, my fat sausage fingers down there, trying to twiddle it all the time. I'm getting a bit more used to it. So this is the 1 part to 100, and then after that the final one will be a stand development, and then we'll have a little look and see, you know, what the negatives look like at 25, 50, 100, and also a stand in the Rodinal, as well as the differences. Hello. Yeah. Oh God, yeah, alright. Oh God. You got to get this on your phone. Go on, just about, I was talking to the camera. Alright. That's my wife. She wants me to do the parking for her. God. I do love you, but you drive me up the wall. Right. Wait, got to make sure it goes through, otherwise you'll be running off and we'll get a parking ticket. Right, your parking started. See you later, bye. What a time for me. Might have to ring up, ask me to put parking on the meter for her using my app. Oh God, now my phone's dinging away. Right, so I'm coming up to the last minute. So yeah, I've got 25, 50, 100 and also a stand development that I've got to do next. Everything was photographed the same very quickly in succession using that Nikon F5, so the lighting didn't change at all. Oh, I don't like this. 4, 5. I don't think I can get used to this twiddling, to be honest with you. I don't think I'm a twiddler. I'm more of a shaker. So without further ado, let's finish this stand development off, get in the darkroom, have a look at the negatives, see what's going on. So these shots here, I've literally got the video camera pointed right over the negative on the light box, and you can see this is the first photograph that I took, which I developed normally with normal inversions, 1:25 Rodinal, and this one here was using the Twiddle stick. And you can see it's a little tiny bit lighter, I think, compared to the other one, but not a great deal of difference. And then I thought I'd carry on playing around with Rodinal and the HP5. This was the stand development. You can see a little tiny bit of bromide drag there at the top. And also the negative does look a little bit dense, a little bit punchy. This was the 1:100. You can see it's a little tiny bit flat. This was the 1:50. This is what I'd normally use if I was using Rodinal. And finally we've got the 1:25. And these are the DSLR scans that I made and put them into Lightroom. I didn't compensate on the DSLR settings, I just shot them all the same shutter speed, the same aperture and the same ISO, taking the values from the very first negative that I put on the light box. And the top two outlined in red are the first two shots that I took. There is a slight difference with the twiddle stick method being slightly lighter. Then we go on to the Rodinal Dilutions. So the first one at the top there, you can see that's the 1:25, which isn't much different at all from the other two. And the 1:50, that looks okay, but with the 1:100 there, you can see I had enough developer in the tank, but I've just got a feeling maybe it needed some more inversions, or it needed a little bit more time than 16 minutes for that 1:100. The image just, or the negative just looks a little bit flat, a little bit lifeless, but nothing you can't sort out in Photoshop or in the darkroom. And as you can see from the stand development, that's pretty punchy. All the information is there though, and again, nothing you can't sort of fix in the darkroom or in the Photoshop. And finally is a close-up of all the images together. So you've got 1:25, 150, 100 and the stand. I'm just looking at the grain and the sharpness, and you know, the sharpest and the grainiest looks like the stand development. All the others seem to be pretty much of a muchness, but then saying that again, printing those in the darkroom and blowing them up, you might see a completely different story. And then looking at the grain between the normal inversions and the twiddle stick, I would say there's less grain on the twiddle stick method than there is on the normal inversion method, at least in this case. So I must admit I was surprised to see that little spindle thing working. I know people do use it, but I've just never fancied using that little spindle and doing some twiddling in my inversions. I'd rather do it that way. That's what I've been shown and that's what I've always done. But thanks a lot to Don for suggesting that to me and trying it out. I was trying it out and I thought, you know what, I'll put this out on the channel for you guys to see if you're interested and never seen it before. And as for the different Rodinal dilutions, I'm always mucking around with different developers and different films and playing around with stuff, so I'll just write that down, my experience. Maybe next time I'll get different results, I don't know, but this time around that's what I got using 25, 50, 100 and also stand. The stand did surprise me. Normally my stands don't look too bad, but that one looked really mad. But is what it is, isn't it? Chemicals and film, having fun, playing around and getting used to it. And I must say a big thanks to Joe for sending me that print all the way from America. That was a nice surprise. I've put that on the channel. And guys, if you've got any prints you want to send my way and you want to see them featured on the channel on the back wall there, let us know and I'll give you the address. And like I've always said in the past, you see me mucking around with different films and different chemicals. It's always good fun to try stuff out, but when it comes down to photographs that I really do like, I always generally stick to one good solid film that I know and one good developer and one good developing technique that will get me through to a decent or half decent negative. So you know, this is all just playing around, seeing what happens. If let us know in the comments, guys, if you've done anything like this yourselves and what you've come up against, and let us know, especially if you use the twiddle thing and why. I'd like to know. I'll catch you next time.